was a child, the attic of my grandmother's house always held a certain mystery. It wasn't just the creaking wood or the dust-filled air. It was something deeper, something waiting. Every summer, I'd visit her big old house in the countryside, and every time I glance up at that crooked door above the stairs, "Don't go in there," Grandma would say, her eyes narrowing just slightly. Nothing but old junk and shadows. But one day, when curiosity got the better of me, I decided to climb those stairs alone. The wooden steps moaned under my feet as I ascended. I remember my heart beating fast, like a drum echoing in a cave. I reached the top and pushed the door. It groaned open slowly. Light filtered in through a tiny round window, illuminating dancing dust particles. The room smelled like old paper and forgotten stories. Boxes were stacked high, some covered in worn blankets. And then I saw it. In the far corner, a faint glow. Not sunlight, not a bulb, just a soft, pulsing light, almost like it was breathing. I stepped toward it, the floor creaking under my weight. Each step felt heavier than the last, like the air was getting thicker. The light flickered gently, revealing a small wooden chest. It was carved with strange symbols I didn't understand. Something about it seemed ancient, older than the house itself. I knelt down, hesitant, but my hands moved on their own. As I touched the lid, it felt warm, almost alive, and then I heard it, a whisper, my name, clear, unmistakable, and spoken by a voice I didn't recognize. I froze. My fingers still rested on the chest, but I didn't dare open it. My name echoed again, this time softer. The attic felt colder now, as if the warmth had been sucked away. I looked around. Nothing had changed, yet everything felt different. The light was dimmer now, flickering like a candle in the wind. I stood up quickly, heart pounding, and backed away. But before I could reach the door, it slammed shut. The sound was I banged on the door, shouted for help, but the house remained quiet. No answer from Grandma downstairs, just me and the glowing chest. After a few minutes, or maybe hours, it's hard to say, I turned back. I couldn't just wait. I had to know what was inside. I approached the chest again, more slowly this time. When I touched it, the light grew steady and strong. The whispers returned too, overlapping, like a crowd murmuring in the dark. I opened it. Inside wasn't treasure. No gold, no relics, just a single notebook. Old, with a cracked leather cover. I picked it up. The whispers stopped. The attic was silent once again. I opened the first page. The handwriting was elegant, neat and unmistakably familiar. It was Grandma's. "If you're reading this," it began, "then you've heard them too." My hands trembled. Heard what? The whispers, the light. The book continued. "There's something in this house, something I couldn't stop, but maybe you can." I sat down, notebook in hand, and read. Grandma's words painted a picture I never expected. As a young woman, she'd explored the attic too. She'd found the same chest, the same light. She'd heard the voices and written it all down. Over the years, she tried to understand it. She believed the attic was a doorway, not to another room, but to another world. A world that fed on stories, memories, and fear. She warned not to let it grow stronger, not to feed it. Suddenly, a gust of wind blew through the attic, scattering papers and dust. The notebook snapped, shut in my hands. The chest began to shake. I stood up, unsure of what to do. Then a shape words in the notebook. It wants you to tell your story. That's what fed it. Narratives, truths, secrets. So I spoke. I told it about my childhood, about the attic, about my fears. As I spoke, the light softened. The figure listened, and somehow I knew I was doing the right thing. When I finished, the light pulsed once, and then dimmed. The chest stopped shaking, the figure faded, and the door behind me creaked open again. I rushed downstairs, notebook clutched tight. Grandma was in the kitchen, calm as ever. "You opened it, didn't you?" she said without turning. I nodded slowly. "Then you've started something." She finally looked at me, eyes full of sadness and strength. "You're its keeper now." I didn't know what that meant at the time, but I would learn. The attic was no longer just a room. It was a place between, and now it was listening through me. Years passed. I kept the notebook close. I added my own stories, just like Grandma had. Every time I heard the whispers, I'd write. I never stopped hearing them, but they didn't scare me anymore. They were curious, hungry, but not cruel. They were ancient, and they wanted to be remembered. I began recording them, first in my journals, then in audio. That's how this podcast began. What you're listening to now isn't just a story, it's a conversation with the attic. You might be wondering if it's real. The attic, the light, the voices. I used to ask the same thing. But truth, I've found, doesn't always follow the rules we expect. Sometimes truth hides in stories. Sometimes it glows in the corner of an old room, waiting to be found. And sometimes it speaks your name when no one else is around. If you've ever felt a place call to you, maybe you've brushed against it too. The in-between. I'm not alone anymore. Listeners write in with their own experiences. They found their own attics, basements, forests, forgotten alleys, places that remember us more than we remember them. Some say the whispers are louder now. Others hear music. One listener said she saw her childhood self standing in a mirror. Another found a locked box that didn't exist the day before. The world is full of thin places. Maybe you're standing in one right now. The attic has taught me that memory isn't just in our heads. It's in the walls, in the wind, in the spaces we forget to look. That's why I keep recording, telling stories, listening, because every story feeds the light and every listener shapes it. The more we share, the more we see. And sometimes, the more we see, the more we become. What we tell matters. What we hide, even more. So tell yours, even if it's just a whisper in the dark. I've gone back up many times since that first day. The chest still glows. The figure still watches. But now, we understand each other. It doesn't want harm. It wants presence, witness. So I speak, and it listens. And sometimes, it shows me things. Memories that aren't mine. Voices from long ago. I write them all down. I read them to you, because they matter. Because maybe, just maybe, this light can heal as much as it haunts. Grandma passed away last winter. Her last entry in the notebook said, "Now it's yours." I buried her with a blank page, an invitation, a bridge, and the attic was quiet for a week. Then it spoke again, not with fear, with gratitude. I think it missed her. I did too, but I wasn't alone. Her stories live on, in me, in this podcast, in every word I speak into this mic, in every ear that hears them. So now, every episode, I leave a page blank, a moment of silence, for you, for your memory, your whisper, your attic, and if you ever find yourself in a room that seems to hold more than it should, don't run, listen, speak, remember, you're not just a visitor, you're part of it now, a keeper, just like me, just like Grandma. The attic is still there, breathing quietly above the house. I still visit, still write, still wait for the next whisper, but I no longer fear the light. I understand it now. It's made of stories, of echoes, of love, loss, and the spaces in between. And as long as I tell these tales, it stays gentle. So I'll keep going. For Grandma, for you, for the ones yet to listen. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for listening. Your presence feeds the light more than you know. And somewhere, beyond the veil of our everyday world, the attic glows a little brighter because of you.